And here we are again. Welcome back to the Global Evolutionary Summit. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for being part of this incredibly wonderful community of people who are heart-centered and willing to bravely step into what is theirs to be, do, and have on this planet. We are the reason for the evolution of humanity. And our speaker today is making a huge contribution in that direction. I'm so excited to bring her to you. I'd like to introduce Dr. Coralye Srivastava. And let me tell you a little bit about her before we bring her to your attention. She earned her Ph.D. from the Zoroastrian College, focused on universal scanning and Vasati Yantras to open and achieve optimal health and a stress-free life. An expert in mitigating geopathic stress and negative energies in homes, she employs rectification tools and yantras. Her achievements include receiving the Bharat Nirman Award for excellence in Vastu Shastra and Geopathic stress rectification, as well as being named the Vastu Consultant of the Year in 2014. Coralye's mission is to teach others simple, cost-effective methods to attract health, wealth, and success. And while Vastu Shastra offers numerous benefits, its primary advantage lies in enhancing positive energy flow across all life areas. Coralye consults to clients everywhere around the world. Excuse me. To begin, all she requires is a plan of the property, its orientation, and the client's birth details. Coralye has recently published, and I'm blessed to have a copy. It is powerful and amazing. Harness the Power of Astro Vastu to Embody Health, Wealth, and Peace, which is available on Amazon. Welcome, Coralye. I'm so excited to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. And thank you for that glowing introduction. I was almost blushing
Oh,
because, yeah, thank you so much.
you're so
Um,
welcome.
yeah. So I will start with a little PowerPoint presentation, maybe about 20 minutes. I'm trying to condense the vast knowledge of Vastu into this small little 20 minutes because there are different ways you can understand Vastu.
Yeah.
And I'll only focus on one, which is the sun, which is the Earth's revolution around the sun, and how the energy of the sun is mapped according to all the different activities which you should do according to the rays of the sun. That is very, very, very interesting. And I'll focus on that. There are other ways you can look at Vastu. You can look at Vastu from the Hindu mythology, where they talk about the Vastu Purush, which is the demigod living in the house, and you have to appease him and not do any activities in certain parts of the house, like where his head is. You can't have the bathroom there or the kitchen. So that is another way of looking at Vastu. Then you can look at it from the scientific way, which is which is the Earth's revolution around the sun, and geopathic scanning. And then you can also look at it like energy healing and balancing the five basic elements like fire, earth, water, air, and space. You can also look at it like that, like you look at feng shui. So you can look at Vastu, and then there's also looking at the planetary influences which come from the planet. So there are different ways of looking at Vastu. So I can talk on each topic. So that's why I thought it would be best if I focus on um, the most basic way of understanding Vastu, which anybody can even do. You have yourself, after reading my book maybe, and the chapter I wrote for the book, you have come up with a very good worksheet. So you will be sending that along with this recording, or you'll be sending it with email. That has taken all the most important points and put it down so beautifully. I couldn't have done it better. So thank you so much for
Oh,
that.
you're so
Yeah,
welcome. And that was um what fascinated me about Vastu is that it is so layered. It's so
yeah,
nuanced. There's so much to it.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
can see why
yeah,
getting a PhD really
yeah,
puts you in a place where you have
yeah,
vast knowledge so that I
yeah,
imagine if you run into a geopathic stress in somebody's
yeah,
home, you can
yeah,
also draw from those multiple layers
yes,
to find
yes.
solutions.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that I changed my PhD topic thrice, because first I started with a different topic, but then I wasn't very comfortable with it. So I came to the topic after great amount of research, and it took me almost 4 or 5 years to write my PhD thesis.
Wow. Yeah.
And I did an in-depth amount of study, and I was reading lots of books, because generally when people teach Vastu, they just teach basic rectification of closing entrances and of painting walls and of placing plants and mirrors. They don't talk about yantras. So that is something which I discovered after in-depth study. So yantras are amazing, and I think even you feel the effects of yantras. I can't live
Yeah.
without them. I even take them with me on holidays so that I can stick them up in the hotel room, because I'm used to the energies of them, and I feel very bad if I don't stay in a room with yantras.
So can
So,
you, for the purpose, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know what a yantra is. Can you explain what
yeah,
that is?
yantras are basically, there are two kinds of yantras. There are metal yantras and there are paper yantras. Now, metal yantras are the yantras which are personifications of gods, because in the Hindu religion there are many gods, and each god has a specific job, so to speak. If you don't have a child, you go to a certain god. Now that god has a yantra. So then the priest says, okay, you take the yantra and you do puja to it, and in 40 days you will see a certain amount of change. And
Wow.
then with that yantra, he will give you a mantra. So then you have to recite that mantra after your shower in the morning, and then you put flowers before the yantra, and then you recite the mantra, and then you see a little bit of change in that situation. So those yantras are beautiful and they're very amazing, but they have a short lifespan, because once they start oxidizing, like once the metal starts getting a little black on the sides, it's best not to pray to them anymore, because that means the energies have left. But the
Mhm.
paper yantras, you can use them lifelong. And these are designed by a German doctor, Dr. Schmeike, and he's also been studying Vastu, and he's a Sanskrit scholar. He's an amazing person. He's designed directional yantras. So they're basically drawings of the planets. There are about 9 planets in total. There are eight
Yeah.
planets, and there's also one yantra for the for my son is just walking. So, Eden, please, would you go? I'll go to bed. Please, don't disturb me. Please don't disturb me. No, please go to bed. Sorry. It's
That's
time for him to sleep, and he always wants to come in. So these yantras are so amazing. You can't make them yourself. You have to get a pandit to make them, because They are only made on a specific day at a specific time, wearing a specific color, and they're basically drawings. And the drawings of that planet, and they're so amazing. If a certain direction, Eden, please don't do this. Go and sleep. If a certain direction is, say, let me give you an example. You're living in a house where the north is where money comes in from, and it's supposed to be north is where opportunities and money comes in, and the north is should be open on all sides, so that you have or you have a window in the north, so that you can let the energies in. Okay, and if you don't have a window in the north, and if the north is closed and windowless and very dark, then you can just put a Mercury yantra in the north, and that would work, and that would start this energy up, and then it would soon, because these small little yantras, they have a field of 7 feet. So if you have 4 or 5 yantras up, then you're like living in very high energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense. I love that. And I love that these drawings, there's so much intention and ritual
yeah, yeah,
behind them
yeah,
that it's almost like the person who's creating them gathers everything and
yeah,
solidifies it into this one drawing, and
absolutely.
that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
And the best part is most people ask me, okay, if I place a yantra there, will it do me any harm? And
Yeah.
yantras cannot do you any harm
Yeah, that makes
because
sense.
they are made with so much of love. They're pure love, basically. Because whenever there's any problem, I just have to go through the Lal Kitab, or I have to go through my book, and then I can immediately, I'm drawn to a yantra which solves the problem. So it's like God has created, before the problem, He's created the solution already.
Yeah.
So there's so much of love in these yantras. So I love them. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
too. And I was so blessed to receive um, your services, your gifts, a consultation in my own home. And I can
Yeah.
tell you without hesitation that I can feel a difference, that I can see the specific areas where you have created solutions to
Mm.
imbalances
Yeah.
that has created little power centers.
Yeah, it does. Because all houses have power centers. It's also, yeah. And then where you place yantras, they do become power centers. That's a very beautiful way of saying it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
But one thing I want to add is that every house I've looked at, they also require geopathic stress rods, because geopathic stress was not something which used to be there at the time when the Vedas were written. It is kind of a modern day, not a disease, but it's a modern day affliction, because
Okay.
there's been so much of digging and building and basements and wells and everything, so much work done underground that it shifted all the energies.
Okay.
So that's why whenever anybody contacts me, I also send them some geopathic stress rods, because once you deal with the ground energy, you can focus on the directional energy.
Yeah.
And then of course you also have to take into account your horoscope.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I'm going to paraphrase. So these rods are
Yeah.
attuned to the earth, and they
Yeah.
allow
They
you to
transmit, change the direction of geopathic stress, because geopathic stress is natural energy. It flows and it comes up from the ground, but it is very powerful and it is negative. So you can't stop it. You can just move it away from your property. So
okay.
these rods are filled with minerals and they move the energy away from the property.
Does this have anything to do with ley lines? And I'm speaking,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, it does. Yes. And there's also something called spirit lines, which is very spooky, where spirits can only walk over spirit lines. It's very spooky. And I've also encountered them in one or two houses, and these rods also take care of them. They move the lines out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So spirit, I've never heard of that. This is new information for me, so thank you.
Yeah.
So spirit lines are where spirits, and are these ghosts or are these entities or are these,
Um, these are ghosts or entities. They can come in from one of these spirit lines, and
yeah,
maybe some houses have entities attached to them.
yeah,
But then, when you do Vastu, you raise the energies of the house so much that it's difficult for these spirits to remain in the house. So then, I've also had houses where I'm not allowed to enter. Like it was very strange in London once a client called me and she said, I can't open the door. And I said, okay, there must be an entity inside which does not want me to enter. She was trying and she said that the lock works, but I can't enter. So then I said, okay, let's leave it because the the spirit does not want me to enter.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, that would be a hard no for me. It's just not where I'm meant to be. And it's fascinating for me because early in my career, probably 25 years or more, and I'm talking about the career in energy work, I did clearings in homes. And there were
yeah,
some that I went into that we did the best we could. You know, myself and my guides reset to the
yeah,
best of our
yeah,
abilities. But
yeah,
between the occupants and the house itself,
yeah,
everything just kept coming back.
yeah.
Yeah, so something
That
like
that
this would be
yeah.
incredibly valuable.
Yeah, yeah. And not many people know about geopathic stress. And geopathic stress is the silent killer of the 21st century because it causes all, it not doesn't cause, but it affects the immune system so badly that the immune system is fighting against this geopathic stress that it does not have time to take care of the body. So you
Mm,
develop small little infections, and then you develop bigger infections, and then you get diabetes and thyroid and bigger problems like that. So
no.
it is. I wish more people would know about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's a
Well,
different topic. I'm wish talk about
I
us
know I'm
tonight.
pulling you off topic, aren't I?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Hmm.
Okay, would you
So
like
should we?
to
Yes, yes, yes. I would like to
okay,
start. I'll just talk maybe for 10, 15 minutes and
okay.
just give you a brief introduction about, I'll mainly talk about 5 or 6 ways where you can, the people who are listening, can also change their environment.
Yeah,
Because when you're living in a house, you already know um, what the energies are doing to you because your gut is there and the gut tells you precisely if you like a place or you don't.
right,
So the reason you're living in the house is probably because you like it, or the flat you like it, and you also know certain that this room is not very good for you, or whenever you enter this room you get a headache, or you have a stomach ache, or you can't sleep in this direction, on this in this room you always fight with your family, or and if you sit if your kitchen the kitchen if you're standing in front of the stove your knees pain. So there are always certain things which you already know is wrong with your flat. So I
yeah.
think I'm going to give you a certain amount of pointers where you can help yourself basically. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'll let you bring up that PowerPoint.
Yeah. Okay, should I start?
Okay.
Okay. So, as I mentioned already, Vastu Shastra originated from the Vedas, which was a very long time ago. So, the Vedas are the oldest writing in India, and Vastu, it teaches you ways. in which you can balance spiritual development with mental and material harmony. So that is the main reason, or that is the divine principle behind Vastu, so that you can leave all your worries about your life will be all set, and then you can focus on the divine. That has happened to a couple of my clients, and they say ever since you've done Vastu for me, um, opportunities and work just comes in, so I don't have to worry about that, and that gives me more time to focus on self healing and my relationship with God. So that is the main principle behind Vastu. So, Vastu is actually architecture and art relating to structures and buildings. So, the design and structure of the building with the placement of different rooms used for different purposes and considering the directions and influences associated with that direction. And that I will look at by talking about the sun and the sun's energy in the next couple of slides. So, Vastu principles also include advice on which sides of the plot the road should be, the size and shape of the plot, how far away from public spaces, what type of plot house should be next to the house. Like some people say you cannot have a triangular plot because a triangular plot are called gaumukhi and they're not very good for people to live in. So that is if you ever are planning to buy a house, try or a plot, go for a rectangular shape. Those are the best. And the height and breadth and the doors and the window placements, etc., are very difficult to get right because generally most builders just build as per their means and as per money. They do not take into consideration Vastu Shastra, which is sad. So I have never come across 100% Vastu correct house so far, but there's still so basically it's also Vastu Shastra is also um, knowledge of how to make ideal use of the five basic elements: earth, fire, water, and space. So now I will talk about the Vastu Mandala. He, as you can see, is the Vastu Purush. So his head is towards the northeast. So, and his legs are towards the south and the southwest. So that is why people say you should have most of the heavy, that's why it's best to build a house in the southwest side of a plot so that his head is open and can rotate without any weight on it. So the Vastu Mandala is a diagram which divides the property into sections according to directions. So if you're looking at earth, fire, water, and air, southwest is the earth element. It is ideal for the main building, which should be heavy and closed. Northwest, which is this section here, west, northwest, west, northwest, is the section for food storage and garages. And northeast is the water element, which is this section here. That is the best for water sources and gardens and swimming pools because it pulls in positive energy from the sun. And southeast is the best location for the kitchen because again the sun's energy when it's in the southeast are best for burning for killing germs. So let us see now what the next slide is. Okay, now we come to the sun's manifold colors. So early morning is known as the Brahma Muhurta. Brahma Muhurta, it's from 3 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and the demigod Indra is in charge, or the embodiment of power is assigned to that hour. This period is the best for meditation and worship of God. Even in India, people still wake up at this time and do their prayers and yoga. The sun's energy at the sun's color during this period is violet. Now the second one is indigo, is from 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. This is the second period where the birds start singing and the whole of nature begins to get new life, energy, and strength. This is where the UV, this is where the morning sunshine is very beneficial for human consumption because it contains an ultraviolet light which changes a form of cholesterol in your skin to vitamin D. That is why all elderly people are supposed to stay in the northeast or the east rooms. So even if they are not taking in the morning light, the light still enters through the walls and the energy still enters through the walls, and they get the beneficial influence, the beneficial frequencies from the sun. So the sun's light is fantastic. And then the third period is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. when all life starts and everybody begins their daily tasks. And the color of the sun during that period is blue. So, and that is also when the sun's rays is emitting UV radiation, which is very good for vitamin D production. Okay. And then as we slowly move, when the sun is in the blue period, it is around the east or the southeast. And then when it moves a little towards the west, around 12 a.m., when it's in the southeast corner, that is where we put the kitchen, because then the energy of the sun starts getting infrared light. And this infrared light is very good for killing germs and for cooking and for storing grain. So that is, and but the color of those sun rays is green. The fifth period of the day is the afternoon, and the sun rays. That is when the sun is slowly moving towards the west. The sun's color is then yellow, and it is again um, it is uh, it is slowly moving towards the northwest, and it's slowly the infrared is gaining more power in the sun's energy. So then it is now turning slightly negative. That is why people generally close their blinds around 4:35 in India, because they don't want to get the energy of the sun during that period.
So, Corley, as I'm looking at
Yeah.
this slide, it takes
This
us.
Yeah, this slide is not very accurate, but I just put it in so that you could have you could understand how the sun goes around.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, this is not very accurate. I couldn't find one which is a perfect slide to go with this bit in my talk. I don't think there is one like that. So, the seventh period of the day is when the energy of the sun is red, and it's from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And that is when the sun is almost setting and is in the northwest. And it's very amazing to think about it. The north is has never been graced by the sun's energy. And that is so amazing that it still has so much of power, even though it has never felt the sun's energy. Let us go to the next slide. So, okay, now we'll talk about the Vastu Mandala, which is looking at Vastu from the energy of the sun, but now also looking at the Vastu Purush. So as you can see, he's lying on his stomach, and the Ishan cone is the northeast. So there the temple and meditation room should be, because that is a good energy where the sun is just the sun is giving off UV light, and it is best for the it's also very good for water storage and water and the balcony. But generally, we also suggest that elderly people stay in the northeast. And in the east is the bathroom, living room, bathroom, not the toilet. That's the bathroom in the Indian sense where you take your shower. And living room, study room, that's why it says avoid toilets. Toilets are best in the south because, again, the sun then kills all negative energy. And I forgot to mention, when the sun is in the northwest corner, it is very good to store all, how do you say, clutter in the northwest. All old books, all old, um, anything which you want to store, you store it in the northwest, because the sun in that corner of the house is very good. It just kills all the germs. And that's why you can even keep your pets. How should I say, your pets, like cats, you can keep the cat's toilet there, and then you can even
Yeah, the litter
store
box. Yep.
your litter box. Yeah, you
Yep.
can put it on there. So where was I? Then in the south is the bedroom, storeroom, staircase, because it's the south again is a corner where there's a lot of energy. So and the southeast, I forgot that. The southeast is the kitchen and electric items, but you do not keep water there, because fire and water in Vastu are kept very far apart from each other. And the south is the corner of Mars. That's why we don't. That's why storerooms and study rooms, we don't do prayers there, and we don't have any. If you have an unmarried girl, you keep her in the north. You never let her sleep in the south. Southwest is for heavy items, bedrooms, thick walls. Again, because that is where the legs of the Vastu Purush are. So whatever is heavy in your house, like if there's a sofa or a bookcase in your drawing room, you can move it to the southwest. And in the west, you need to close the west. You cannot have the entrance in the west, because if you have an entrance in the west, it can lead to legal problems and loss of money. So the west is definitely a side or a direction where your front door should not be facing. So the west is a study room, children's room, dining room. All these activities are fine for the west. And the northwest is, as I said, storage, washing, and toilet, guest bedroom, because you don't want the guests to stay for very long. That's why you keep them in the northwest, so that they would leave after a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the northwest, yeah, and parking of garages, yes, that's very important. Cars and garages go in the northwest because, again, of germs. Yeah. And then the north is the corner for wealth, the living room, the entrance, the home office. So you you can basically you can find this Vastu Mandala on the internet. You can map your house or your flat around it, and just look at your surrounding and see, is my east um, less heavy than my west, and is my north the north has to be more open than the south. So you have to check that. The northeast should be more free of clutter than the southwest. So you can just check all of those things when you're meditating on Vastu.
So can I
Yeah.
ask a question? Is this
Sure, please.
this is applied to the house in its entirety, and then
Yes.
do you take this mandala and apply it to a room as well?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can do that. But
Okay.
obviously, you can put your temple in the northeast, and then in the east you can have your light furniture, and then in the south you can have the bed, and
Okay.
in the southwest you can have the heavy furniture, and then in the west you can have it shut completely with a closet. And northwest you can have a window, and the north and east you should definitely have windows,
Okay.
because that is where the positive energy of the sun and the planets of the north and the east are also, and the northeast are very positive. The planets of the north is Kuber, who is the god of wealth, and Lakshmi, and the east is the sun, and the northeast is Jupiter. So they are very loving planets. So you should have as much of open windows in these three directions. So try not to clutter these directions too much. Yeah,
Okay, very good. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, so room placements. Bathroom should not be located in the northeast or southwest corners of the house, and they should not be constructed beneath staircases or in central areas because of the dirt and bacteria, unpleasant odor, and health issues for residents. Lastly, if you have to keep the toilet lid and the bathroom door closed at all times to maintain a harmonious environment. Let me just see what the next slide is. Okay, they've already come to Yantras. I just want to quickly mention how how Vastu affect our day-to-day lives. So, if there are deficiencies in the northwest, there'll be lots of arguments in your family, and you'll have relationship issues, particularly affecting women. So positive vastu in these areas promotes harmonious relationships. One second, I think there's some water. Gaurav, what are you doing? Um, I, so deficiencies in the northwest lead to relationship issues, particularly affecting women and in some cases the third son. So, positive Vastu in this area promotes harmonious relationships. And if you have a northwest extension, it is very important that you cut it off. I will teach you how to cut it off because northwest extensions lead to addictions. And it's very difficult to stay in a flat with a northwest extension because then even the littlest addiction becomes a major problem.
Wow.
And a kitchen in the northwest leads to um, impulsive spending behavior. So therefore, the um, best spot for the kitchen is the southeast. So deficiencies in the southeast primarily, in fact, they impact women and children. And women will get into unnecessary arguments, and it might also cause um, problems in the stomach, and you might get infections and blood infections, and can also sometimes cause burns. So southwest, if there are defects in the southwest, it would lead to accidents and financial losses. It is It is therefore, and it would also affect the mother and the son, the eldest son. So, and if there are any extensions in the southwest, it could lead to legal issues and debt. So, therefore, having any extensions I will teach you how to negate them. So that is also very important. Deficiencies in the east affects health for all the members in the family and also for the male children. A bright and open east encourages good health, prosperity, and well being. If it is closed or if there's too much of clutter in the east, it can lead to loss of money and financial struggle and health issues. So that is also very important that we look at the east and you meditate on it. And the western section of the property impacts the education of children, especially male children. Um, and it can lead to, again, financial losses and disease and um, accidents. So that is also one area where you should be careful. All right. And deficiencies in the north lead to financial and health issues, primarily again in children, in women. And um, all right. I think I've covered most everything. And now I will come to how we can create sacred spaces. And I'll talk about one way we can cut and move energies. Like if you have, like I said, northwest extensions are not very good. So there is some yellow tape which is available on the, and this is something which um, I'm only sharing with you. Generally, this is one of the biggest secrets of Vastu consultants. Nobody is going to tell you that, but I tell everybody about this because I want the knowledge to just spread around, and everybody should be armed with something where they can change their destiny. So if you have something like a northwest extension, you can basically cut that extension away from the house by putting a strip of yellow tape on the entrance to the room. So if you have a room in the northwest, you just put a strip of yellow tape on the entrance to the room, and that is like you've cut that energy away from the flat or your house. And then you will see, you meditate on it, and then you see whether you feel better after placing the yellow tape. And this can be done also with southwest extensions. If you have extensions in the north and the east, it's perfect. Southeast extensions are a bit dicey, but you should keep them because southeast bring in money. But they might also cause certain health problems in women. But if you have a southeast extension, it's all right. You can see how it affects you.
Yeah.
And you can also, if you have if you are living in a very difficult or a different shaped flat, then you can cut it into a rectangle by sticking this yellow tape on the floor. If you need any help, you can just reach out to me. I will help you. So this is one way of changing the structure of the flat, making structural changes. So we've already addressed. First, you have to take into consideration the ground energy. So that's the geopathic stress. If you want, that's something very amazing. And I asked a couple of clients who have cats to check where the cats like to sit and where they walk, because cats generally walk on geopathic stress lines and they sit on geopathic nodal points, where nodal points are where two geopathic stress lines intersect. And those geopathic stress lines, that nodal point is very harmful for you. So you should not sleep on them. So you can, if you have it, and a dog stays away from the geopathic stress lines. So if you have a cat and you can just see if she's walking in a certain on a certain line, then that means that that is the geopathic stress line. And then you can reach out to me. I'll send you some rods, and then I can even scan that from wherever, from India. I can scan that for you. That is not a problem. Okay, so then we need to um, one second. The next one is clearing clutter. If you live in a house where you've cleared the clutter, you have already rectified 95% of problems in Vastu. Because a house without clutter is where all the good energy can come in. So, number one, you look at everything around you and see, do I actually need it? If you don't need it, give it away. And then you need to keep a very clean house. The next slide. Yes, this is the yellow line I was talking to you about, the yellow tape. It can also be used for toilets. If a toilet is in the northeast, which is very, very negative, you can uh, stick a strip of the yellow tape on the entrance to the toilet, and you can stick it around the toilet like this so that you spiritually close the area, and then you forget about it. You also stick a yantra on the door of the toilet, and then it's like you've taken care of it. You don't need to worry about it. So this is another secret of Vastu, the yellow tape. And next one, the colors of Vastu. Oh, hold on. I don't know how to go back. 1 second. Can you just stop the recording?
Sure.
I just
Okay, got it.
So the colors of Vastu, you can see basically green is the color for the north. The northeast has three colors: yellow, light green, and blue. And the east is white, and the southeast is silver, white. The south is red and fuchsia. I would say the southeast is actually fuchsia. And the southwest, there are tones of brown, and west is blue, and north west is white. So if you're living in a house, like I said, I gave you an example, the north was closed. So then basically you can paint the north wall in a color of green and then stick the yantra on there, and that would benefit you tremendously. This is one thing anybody can do. You just have to go get these colors and then paint the walls, and then you will immediately sense um, a change of energy. Now, plants also affect Vastu. You have the rubber plant. The money plant is best in the northeast. The tulsi plant is also good for the northeast. Rubber plant is best in the south. Snake plant is best in the northwest. And aloe vera is also in the northwest or west. Um, yes, these are also plants you can use for Vastu. Again, if your north is shut, you can use plants to liven it up, because the plants are living energies, and they also are depiction of Mercury. So the north um, is a direction which is Mercury is basically the god of the north. So if you have plants there, it's very beneficial. Now these are the yantras I was talking to you about. These are the German yantras, and these are really amazing. The blue one is the rectification yantra. These are used to ask for forgiveness from the Vastu Purush. If you ever have any activity which is not meant for that direction and is affecting your health, like a kitchen, is like a bathroom in the northeast, is very negative. So that is when you stick one of these yantras on the door of the bathroom. And the
Okay.
southwest protection yantra is mainly used for two open south or southwest. If there are too many windows in the southwest or the west or the south, then you can place these on the windows facing outward, and this blocks the negative energy from Mars and Saturn. And in astrology, the southwest, the northwest have Indian planets called Ketu and Rahu, which are very, very negative. So these block the energies of these planets. All right, let's see what's next. This is basically a plan of a house, but I think I've already covered all these points. And this is a geopathic stress depiction. So as you can see, there are two geopathic stress lines running across, and because of the geopathic stress line, the tree has cancer, and this is an accident zone, and it's running under the bed, so the people are not having good sleep at night. So that's why it's important to have the geopathic stress rods, so that the energies would move a little. I finished my talk on
Okay.
yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, yes. I
Thank
hope I wasn't talking too fast because I had to condense all this information, and I hope you can take a little bit of knowledge from this talk and implement it in your day-to-day life, and just look around yourself and see whether my whether you can even if you just take one thing away from this talk, that would be enough. Yeah,
Yes, I agree. And for me, I think just getting a plan of your house and understanding what
well,
sits in the
yeah,
different
yeah,
directions
yeah,
and how to
that would be
optimize
useful.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use the colors I mentioned, and you can use plants. I would generally people say to use mirrors, but for me, mirrors can turn into portals. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't use mirrors very much. You can use them in the north or the east walls, but do not use them in the south or the west, because sometimes they turn into portals.
Okay.
So for negative energy to enter.
Yeah. And I want to also remind everybody that Coralye's book, Harness the Power of Astro Vastu to Embody Health, Wealth, and Peace, is available as a great guide. And
Yeah,
reach out to Coralye. She will be able to walk you through some of the rectifications that you can put into
yeah,
place to offset what's going on. Because as you know, when houses are built, they don't take into consideration anything except
absolutely.
how can
Money,
we get this house up for the least amount of money?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And yeah, and the builders also in India, they do not listen to Vastu consultants, because most Vastu consultants come in and say, you can't put bathrooms in this direction, you can't put kitchens in this direction. So that's why most builders don't listen to Vastu consultants.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of ways to
Mm.
overcome the energetic imbalances,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think is brilliant. So,
Yeah. The best ways are these yantras. So, yeah.
which, as I shared earlier in our
Yeah.
conversation,
Mm-hmm.
Corley did my house,
Yeah. And how
and
do you feel?
I can feel the difference tremendously. It
Okay.
was almost a night and day, but it was very gradual. It was as if
Yeah.
the yantras were working to offset what was imbalanced, and then
Mm-hmm.
slowly this change came
Mm-hmm.
about, and and it's fascinating. I
Yeah.
absolutely am so deeply grateful for what you've done in my
Yeah.
home, and even my animals can feel the
Yeah.
difference.
Yes, they would. Have you placed the geopathic stress rods where I asked you to?
I
Because
did.
that would definitely make your animals or your pets feel a lot better. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
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 It was incredible. So,
Thank you.
what is
Mm.
the best way for people to get in touch with you? And can you tell us a little bit about what it looks like if somebody comes to you and says, "Okay, I'm interested in what you're doing."
Mm-hmm.
What are the steps you take in the beginning
Okay.
of a consultation?
Okay, I take the Vastu to another level because most people just do basic Vastu, but I take the Vastu to the third level, which is I incorporate the person's horoscope to see that the flat they're living in does not pull all the positivity out of the horoscope. So that is why when I start the Vastu consultancy, I ask for a plan, and then I also ask for their date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, so then I can get the astrologers to make their horoscope and to check if there are any problems with the flat, so that there are no corners in the flat or there's nothing wrong with the flat, so that they, because they have many times when I have very lucky people staying in absolutely, um, how do I say it? I wouldn't even recommend them living in the houses. And the houses are so negative, they pull all the luck out of the
Yeah.
person's horoscope. So that is why that is important to check. And so, and then I also want a plan with the northeast indicated on it.
So
And
like a what is the word I'm looking for? A floor plan of the
floor plan.
house or the flat and
Yeah.
each floor and the directions
Yeah.
on, yeah, okay.
If you don't have like an architect's floor plan, that is fine. You can draw one yourself. And generally, I ask my clients also to send me a recording or a video of the house because I'm not physically present with them. So, but I can sense the energies through the recording. So I ask them for a recording and a plan, and I also ask them for a recording outside the house so that I can also sense whether there is some negativity coming in from outside.
Yeah. I know when I sent you my information, there were so many fixes you had to do. Most of them were centered around the bathrooms and the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And those are the areas where I have it has made a tremendous difference.
yeah. Have you felt more opportunities coming towards you?
Yes.
Have you felt, yeah, okay, good. So then
Yeah.
basically the Vastu is working. Yeah,
Yes. It
yeah,
is.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, good.
And so, as Corley mentioned in the beginning, we have a worksheet that's actually included in the Global Evolutionary Summit book that will probably be out by the time you see this recording. But we'll include that worksheet so that you can review it and get some direction on how you can apply Vastu in your own home.
Yeah.
And go
I
ahead.
will also, on your website, I'll also send you some information about some yantras so that they can also check on your website and see whether they can order it in the States. But it's best to order it in India because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the shipping time isn't too bad. It's because
No,
the
it's,
yantras are quite small.
yeah, about 10 days. It's not too. Well, if you ask me how long it takes for a Vastu consultancy, it can take up to 2 months
Okay.
because it has its process,
Yeah.
and you can't rush it, because it also takes into consideration the energies of the house, and then um, it takes a certain amount of time for me to understand what is happening, and then the astrologer also gives me the information, and we it takes about a week for me to to find the most effective remedies. So you can't rush these things, and then obviously postage takes 3 weeks. So roughly about 6 weeks for um, is the time frame of a Vastu
For a
consultant.
reading. When you ask for the birth dates to look at the astrology, do you ask
Hmm.
for everyone that lives there or just the
Or
primary, just the,
just the person who pays the bills, or
okay.
in whose name the house is or in whose name the rental agreement is, because it affects that person mainly.
Yeah, got it. Got it. And what about animals? I know we touched on that a little bit, but do you
Yeah.
ask if there are animals in the house or does it
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. As I said, I asked most clients to check where the dogs and the cats sleep so then I can correlate whether that is where the geopathic stress lines intersect. Yeah.
That's fascinating. All
Yeah, it
right.
is. There's a lot more I can talk about, but I'm also getting tired. It's 10:30, it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock here. So I'm also getting tired. Yeah.
Oh, Coralie, you
Thank you
know I
so
love you
much.
so much, and I'm
Yeah, love
so
you.
grateful to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to give this talk, even though I was supposed to talk in the last summit. But thank you so much.
You're
Yeah,
so welcome. And to everyone listening, reach out to Coralie. There's a wealth of information available to you. You'll hear it all through this talk, but there's more. And
yeah.
let's face it, when you have somebody like Coralie at your fingertips, that's where you really want to get the information. Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Thank you. Thank you.